Alright, take two. Hello everybody, it's Sega-24 here, just call me Dash, you know the drill. So, remember when I said in that one thing I sent, where it's like the moment I hit post, I was probably gonna record? So I did that. Buddy story. You know how in OBS, sometimes the program scene, not the preview scene, is completely blacked out? Not kidding. It was like that and it recorded just the black screen. Video was short, so I'm like, alright, guys. That's when I noticed it. I was actually laughing the whole time. I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Let me actually see how to properly do this first. And figured it out instantly. So, long story short, say hello to the DaVinci editor. This thing is awesome. And it is also completely and utterly cursed at the exact same time. No joke, part of me wants that, why not do a recording of a recording? But that's not going to work because obviously it's not. So, going to do a behind the scenes one, and sometime later, I'm just going to do a take to the Deltarune mod. So, this is essentially going like, okay, what happened? Everything's done. Everything in this timeline, done. And yeah, the timeline's cursed. The issue is it's overclocked. So, issue 1, microphone. We already discussed in the last video. Well, okay, maybe not the last video, because technically speaking, my perspective, the last video would be the entry function one. So, here, let me explain that the microphone is busted throughout me playing it out through the first recording. Talking through the whole thing, and it's like, oh, microphone didn't actually pick up. So it's like, well, crap. So it's like, okay, let's just explain the situation and go from there. However, for whatever reason, I just thought, wait a minute, I gotta do something here because I'm not talking through the video. It's completely bugged. There's a bunch of just blank space here where there would be speech. Issue 2. I thought, okay, remember that one image of Azrael I had? Grab that, put that here, and subtitles. Now, technically speaking, this could work. Here's the issue, I did it a bit too much. Like, this entire second track here is nothing but the image of Azrael. So, there's that. And then, on an entirely different layer, in the actual editing tab, we have the subtitles. So then we get to the deliver part, which is where the real issue begins. Every time we're to try it, as you can see here, these bugged out. Those renders completely bugged out. And another issue, the frame rate was also crazy. Because apparently, this entire video would have been rendered in 24 frames instead of 60, which isn't really that big of a deal. It's just, wow, how did I not notice that before? So, note to self, when I do a new project, make sure it's still keeping all the frames. And we have this, subtitle settings. Now, while I could have done it as a separate file, no, I'm trying to make sure you can actually see what's going on in the video, so burn in. Doing this would make the process take massively longer. As for the resolution, it didn't really matter what number it was, as long as it was like 1080 above. Like at the bare minimum, it was going to be 1920. So it's like, okay, fine. I'm not sure what else is going on in the actual video itself. That's pretty much it, because the main reason why I was like, why isn't this working? Here, on the mic part, there is specifically one part here where I was like, huh, let me just show off a bit. And I'm just gonna be silent for this whole part just so you can see what it was supposed to be. Because in the end, I'm probably still gonna find some way to make it work. It's just, hopefully, I do it in a less crazy fashion. And right there was when the real issue started. Because I am not able to simply take the audio track, step it on top of the original track, and have them play at the same time. It has to be in this layer. So it's like, okay, go into one of the editors here and make sure the audio's working. Turns out, every time I try to move this one up, it'll replace the audio entirely of the actual video. Whoops. So, what do I do from there? Well, go into here, hit a select all button, and make sure everything is in stereo. That way, when I select bus 1 in the audio track of the deliver section, it'll actually pick up. And it would have done so if the thing didn't bug out. And all it is just one huge GPU error, aka it'll overclock it. Essentially, ladies and gentlemen, this video is over edited. So that's one of the main reasons why I'm just essentially going, you know what? Leave this here. We're doing a take 2. Now, at some point, I don't know when, I might decide to do a director's cut where I do record the editor playing back the whole video as the first take was intended. But at this point, we got a 41 second long video, and I'm like, huh, if I was going to do that, I'd have to change a lot of stuff. And truth be told, it'd be like, well, we all wanted this. Correction, I wanted to get this one thing done, and it's like, everything's here, everything's fine, everything is as intended. And other than that, that's pretty much it on the video aspect. As for actual behind the scenes, as you can see here, this is all the stuff I used for the Deltarune videos. And specific sprites, I had to type in the names of the creators. So, Alyssa's made the Kris PNG, Cerulean made the Jebel PNG, and Mamar11 did both regular Spamton and static Spamton. Everything else is from original Deltarune. Then there's a whole disclaimer image that I had to go into several different photoshops to make. Seriously, I couldn't just go into Pixlr and do it because they wouldn't scan the font file for it. And it's like, ugh, I'd be there forever. So essentially, after that's pretty much it. And one joke I made in the last video was me saying, you know, I don't have everything downloaded, just the majority of the Unreal and Deltarune soundtracks. Sue me. And yep, I was not kidding when I said that. Most of the ones that I actually wanted to download are here. And yeah, then there were some jokes that were supposed to be in the original take of Entry Funkin' before. I mean, I'm not even kidding. I'm trying to remember when it was. Oh, wait, no, not the Entry Funkin' mod. That is a complete mistake. So, there is actually an original take of me doing an entirely separate mod and I downloaded all these PNGs from Google because it's like, okay, here's the gag. There are too many arrows, way too many arrows that exist when it comes to FNF. You have regular arrows, long notes, quad spam, triples, all this other stuff. It would just go crazy. Then we would get to the death notes parts, and it'd be like instant death notes with specifically this over here. It's like, hey, let me just find something on Google and see, you know what? I wonder if I can grab someone's thumbnail. And no, that wasn't the intention. The real intention was just seeing, let me look up FNF death notes, and that just showed up. So, okay, that worked. I will eventually use these in a proper video. I just don't know when, but there you go. Then this one specifically was me failing to actually properly make the subtitles and realized, wait a minute, I'm doing too much. What if I actually found the subtitles in the editor? Which I did, which led to this. And I think that's really all there is to explain on the matter. Honestly, if I could explain to you, like, everything here for the video itself, that by its own would just be its own video, which all this is just a behind the scenes take of what really happened here. And honestly, as I'm recording this now, it has been 11 minutes and 40 seconds. Truth be told, I could just blaze through and go through the whole editing philosophy here, but I'm gonna be real with you. I've only used this editor for technically 2 videos now, and this may be the one time I don't edit it, because technically speaking, it's supposed to just show off the whole thing. So, in order to fully show you what overclocked it, it's a combination of way too much going on at once and me thinking I could actually pull it off, which I almost did, but whoops. Subtitles were actually, you know what? This is gonna be the perfect moment where I can literally just say, I'm gonna let past me explain. So, turn the volume up in case the thing doesn't actually pick it up. And, yeah, take it away, recording me.
Alright, so, disclaimer for the disclaimer. Because something happened during the recording and it took way too long to explain it. So, skip to this time if you want to just skip to the mod pack. But
That time used to be wrong.
long story short, audio bugged out. You will not hear my microphone through the entirety of the mod. So instead, you're going to be seeing Mini-Me, aka Dash the Azrael over here, with subtitles on, trying to explain everything. So I'm gonna try my best in editing to make it all work, but worst case scenario, well, I mean, hey, you got the gameplay. I promised all gameplay, you're getting it. It was way too fun to work on this, and I am not losing that much footage.
But if footage isn't lost, I'm just gonna have to try again. Not mad about that whatsoever. And if it seems like I am, trust me, I'm not.
So, hey, there you go. Have fun, people. Note to self, colorize the souls. You'll figure out why later. Anyways, bye, have fun. Music, go.
And that was the intro for the most part. Here is where it's like, okay, how do I do it? Well, let's just have Mini-Me just talk about the mod itself while the video's playing. So the dialogue is completely long and excessive. That was me at that time, and it's like, that was the point. I just pulled a Scott Falco. I was complaining about a dialogue thing in a game and a series that prides itself of its dialogue. So, whoops. This is my one issue with it when it was in the mod, was like, it was the full thing. From start to finish, it was just the Susie versus Lancer conversation. And while it was cool, yikes. And through here, it's like, okay, everything's perfectly fine. And then we get to where I am going to find it specifically here. Yep, here we go. That was me when I was like, okay, did any entry function mod? Let me do it here, where it's like, alright, edutech is now the new pop-off filter. If a song's gonna pop off, that's gonna be the thing I use. And I did that for so many parts of this where it's like, okay, just normal edutech won't justify some parts. The entirety of not only Mike's song and Vesper's song, aka the mask lady in that one part in the mod, they needed multiple filters. And honestly, I am more than happy showing those off. Because then we get to rules and oh yeah, there was actually a joke here about how the first time I tried to record this, I had weaknesses when it actually came to FNF mods. So I'm just gonna let the subtitles explain here, and I'm just gonna talk over just to go through it. So yeah, cut next time. Specifically, I'm pausing here because there were 2 to 3 things that, well, I was talking about in the video that would just mess me up entirely. If not just the lack of me having to be, able to play the game, aka just get good. Switchblade notes. Essentially, I call these things switchblade notes, which is regular notes at the same time as long notes. I cannot reliably get those down pat. I do not know why, I just can't. Then there's things to cover up the screen, so, the main gimmick of rules being the ducks. So I try to do that as an in-joke here, to the point where the subtitles literally clip out of the window of the game. And then there was complete and total spam. And to give you full context, if not that image, think of the Hank gunfight mod from Incident 012F. And that should let you know right then and there. Yeah, that's a bit spammy. But then there's mods that like to do this. By the way, no, that actually is real. I looked it up. It's real. Yeah, no, I'm not playing that. No. I keep saying that I do not like playing mods that would just break my computer entirely. I'm not gonna play that just for the sake that it's going to break my hands entirely. No. And then there was where we finally got to this part where it's like I actually managed to hit the whole switchblade notes, and it's like, oh, I surprised myself. So that was all fine. And it just keeps being normal for a bit, and then this. Then there came Mike, and yeah. Mike is when I decided, you know what, he popped off, I'm just gonna do the same thing. For the most part, you've seen the part where he just goes. But then, for whatever dumb reason, ignore the multi-cut here. That was by sheer accident in editing. This filter right here, you wanna know what I had to do for this filter? Let's go into editing, click this, effects, edutech, RGB mode, use the mask overlay with specifically this going on. No filters, no advanced stuff, nothing too crazy. But the fact that it has mask overlay and can do this, that was awesome. And I decided to just roll with it. And then I decided, after that, add more. Yeah, for this one, this part right here, scan lines. TV scan lines, like an old CRT. I don't know why I decided to do that. Mainly because I thought Mike it's funny. But in full context, I don't know why I decided to do that. Looks cool. That's probably why I did it. But other than that, then there came the whole thing with Jubble where it's like, alright, this is gonna be something by itself. Can I just say this right now? Yeah, this thing is visual hell, and only visual. This, I'm gonna be with you. The fact that I got a low miss rate on this song surprises me. Actually, specifically, trying to find it because I know it just goes crazy somewhere during all of this. Oh yeah, this. He can steal your notes. That, yeah. There it is. Yeah. So that was something to discover. And then specifically here, it's like, oh, this was one of my favorite songs by the time I recorded the video. So, to let everyone know, I was just gonna stop the gimmick of adding the subtitles with Mini Me and everything else going on, and decided, you know what? Let's just play it out. Now, of course, I cannot do that full thing here because I'm not trying to make this video go that long. But for the most part, I will actually show you the editing track version of this. And you'll see where all this goes into play.
3, 2, 1, go!
And for the most part, it was normal. Then we get here. Wait, actually. Did not know I could speed it up by hitting it multiple times. It's good on me. I'm not kidding. Just discovered that myself in this recording, so this is definitely getting posted. And this. Added a purple filter for Jubble. Added add the lights for this part, because she just had to go full choir on me. And for the most part, it was completely normal. And then we got to here. And this was one of the hardest things I had to do. I had to create a sepia tone filter. There is no filter for that in this editor. I had to make one by going to the color changer, like I did for the last part there we saw where I had to add the purple filter. The only reason why I did sepia tones is because of this. And then it got crazier because immediately after this, she pulled a reference for Midnight Masses. So I had to get the pink filter on, edge detect, and make it a reference to Sarvente. And after that, I think it's normal for the most part. And I'm very sorry if that sounds obnoxious, but I just discovered that I'm gonna abuse it. Oh yeah, and she also had her own death notes. Well, okay, not really death notes, but distractions. And then we get to Spamton, which, for the most part, it's just he goes fast. That's pretty much it. For his edge attack, there was nothing else crazy. I don't think it was anything that much. Oh yeah, the glow filter here. They love referencing mid-fight masses, and I do not blame them. I love the fact that when I timed that, I was initially timing it to the music of Rouse doing the demi part, not knowing that I effectively timed the glow to also happen with me not being able to FC that song by hitting one of Spamton's ad notes. So that was funny in on itself. I decided to keep it in. It came to the rest of the mod, which, yeah, here is normal. Then we get to this. This entire part here was a gag in on itself. Yeah, every time it did the Gaster's theme. Actually, wait. Click here, editing. Just to show you what this all was. I literally went into this and found the Wingdings font and decided to change it. I had to remember that Gaster spoke in all caps, so this is here. Yeah, the same Wingdings font translator I did for the entry function mod. I decided, you know what? Why not do that in reverse? Every time I do with Gaster's motif, he said something. Every time. Well, at least in this specific part. And trust me when I say that this got crazy real quick, yeah, it got crazy. It's like, you know what? If this does fully go out, I want to see how many people could actually guess what they say. And if not, well, hey, it gave me an actual reason to do it behind the scenes, even if this thing didn't bug out. I could say that it just keeps growing. But on account of that soul, well, yeah, BF having some weird. I get it, it's patience, but the fact that there's white in the center almost makes me feel like, huh, did they try to cue in the whole hybrid thing or Dreamer Reborn thing? Because that would be cool. Nah, it's just sort of design the soul, and I'm completely fine with that. And again, the deeper that you go, the messier it gets. Yeah, it's a reference. If you know what a reference is for, points to you. Oh yeah, Mike decided to pop off here, so letting that play normally. Also, I just noticed I did a better scanline filter here than I did on the last part. That was intentional. Why didn't I just go back and use this one on the previous one? Because I knew this song was part of the mod. And this was a text box cruising around to this part specifically, and I love this part. And this one is a reference to KHL's lyrics for Darker, Darker, Yet Darker. A broken door will lead to deeper, and the room when he escaped us and before he is shaking everywhere around you, space is breaking. Yeah, I know I did that wrong. I don't remember it by heart. It's Gaster's theme. It's just simple patterns. Bum 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 bum. That's it. 8 notes. And people decided to turn that into a full remix for a boss battle. People in this community be crazy. Then there's Spamton. And this part I absolutely love. So it's like, you know what? Techman colors, go. Shadows that to grow when the faces that you know seem like fantasy. It's our soul that's so shining in the gold with the true, the promise in our. And for that part specifically, if you wear an ever fading. So the in joke here was for this part specifically would be the one time I was like, maybe I make a clip and then finally use the short function of YouTube and voice act this part. Nope. So instead, how it actually goes is something like this. The light is running low, and the shadows start to grow, and the places that you know seem like fantasy. There's light inside your soul, that's so shining in the gold with the truth, the promise and are everywhere and never fading. And then they just pop off, because of course they do. And because Boyfriend had to get an entire solo, add even more. Best filter I did, by the way, for this part, because it literally only defines BF and the soul. And man, it's gonna be a hassle to do this again, because we have prism blur, glow, zoom blur, and radio blur. Yeah, this thing is over edited, and I don't care. It's awesome. So now it gets to the question, alright, what about the rest? Here is where I decided to fully go meta. In the joke here, it's like, oh hey, it's Kris. No, it's the vessel. Same difference. That's the joke. Turns out that was a double joke. To the point where, right here, I'm just gonna let this thing play out. Because the subtitles say everything. As you check on notes, this is because I unintentionally clipped this part, but forgot to stop it here, and the edge check continued. However, instead of me thinking, alright, let me fix that, this happened. That's my actual reaction right there. So, just read the subtitles after me discovering they did this. It's such a specific reach. Think to edge detect a grayscale image. Gray shading is one thing, but the animators and spreaders made fully colored sprites, decolored them to make the vessel. And that's not even the extent. Because then we get to what happens after this part. With enough editing magic, and specifically these values on Edge Detect, I recolorized the grayscale vessel sprites and brought back Kris. Meaning, I was right by technical means. Because if it was going to be Edge Detect and filter, the icon would be the same as Kris, just black and white. Here, nope, fully colored, fully realized, and I decided where to go. So after I did that, the entirety whenever Kris showed up again, I did this specific filter. And I do mean the entirety of the rest. Let's just speed this up a bit. Oh yeah, he also did the whole Guess Who's motif here. And yeah, unintentionally gave him a spectral filter. This wasn't even the intention, and yet it still worked. It just made everything worked. This video, this editing here, is where I peaked. So it's like, why is it not just going to let me full send? And at this point, I'm like, okay, well, what do? Because I don't know. I actually had no clue what to do after this part. After editing all the way up to there, whatever happened was whatever happened. Here was me going through the points and scores, and then the secret songs, where I was essentially hyping up Starwalker, but then I realized, it's like, this is hyping it up. This right here, to quote a video, sometimes foreshadowing is rather obvious. And yeah, you'll just see. And yeah, I absolutely love this song. You cannot make a bad version of the song. Go ahead. I dare you. And it just stop right there. Oh, yeah, there's also another filter on top of this, and instead of edge tag, it's prism blur. And then here, harmonization, we had orchestra going on, and in the light rays. It's just a normal glow filter. And yeah. Then it was just me going about, yeah, it's Starwalker. I'm not editing Starwalker. He in himself is a living joke. And after that, I went on to go through this again for some dumb reason to show off that even in bot play, he will still say the same line. So now it's just game overs, where it's like, it's just a star for the first three. Then we have this.
You better not be recording this. What a shame that would be.
And at that point, I thought she knew I was recording. No, it's just a normal voice line, because we have this. And then Spamton decides to full out roast you. All the game overs are, the messages are based on the time of when you die in the song. So if you specifically die at the very beginning, he says this.
You are. Talk to me when you've achieved in life.
Yeah. Also, if they ever make a mod for Deltarune where it voice acts everyone, please get Juno to voice Spamton. Every line. Because yes, I wouldn't even care if you got the whole Spamton trio. Actually, no, the Spamton 4 group, because we have Musical Indie, which did the Mike theme with lyrics. Man on the Internet, who did his own Big Shot remix with the whole I'm Neil, You're Not. We have Juno, who did it, which now he made several things with Spamton. And I'm pretty sure Rec D or Rec did his own thing. So at this point, if you wanted to make a meta joke about Spamton having several voices in his head, you definitely could, but just saying, hey, do any of you want to voice them? And have everyone say yes, and it'll still work. And that's the joke. And I love it. We have the most brutal game over scene I've ever had to witness. Okay, second most brutal. There is a Horror Sans mod out there, and yeah, nah, completely beats this. If you know what I'm talking about, you know, and we'll get there when we get there. And that was everything. So at this point, it's like, alright, well, as of now, I'm just gonna do what the original plan was and let previous me talk about this. to give it 100 views on Deltarune, and thank you all so much for getting the entry funkin' mod to 700 and going up as we speak. That ever since the creepy video, I thought it was gonna stop there. There was no way after that I'm getting anywhere close. Who would have thought it was just post Friday Night Funkin'? This was not how I expected me to go out, but if you want it, there you go. Go and slave to the algorithm. I'm just saying, I'm doing this for fun. I'm only playing the mods that I want to play because I think they're fun. I'm taking suggestions, but they're mainly from my friends, so you can send some stuff if you want to. It's guaranteed. There's some actual real life priorities going on. So until then, I'm just gonna FC the hard mode of this song, and because I completely forgot to do it properly on the actual happy mode. So that funny story, ain't it? Yeah. Anyways, I'm just gonna let that version of me keep going and yeah, enjoy the rest. It's Sega Dash, gotta dash. We'll catch you all in a flash. Hit it, cameraman.